All right, so we're diving into something pretty big today. Passion and purpose, right? I mean, who doesn't want to figure that out?
Definitely a universal topic.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks about it at some point.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got some really interesting sources here. Articles, research, the whole shebang.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we'll try to pull out those golden nuggets so you can, walk away feeling like, all right, I get it. I'm inspired.
I love that.
Yeah. And I got to say, just glancing through these sources, self-awareness just jumps out. It's like the foundation, like know yourself first, then the passion and purpose can come. I don't know, what do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the starting point. It's like building a house. You wouldn't just start putting up walls without a plan.
Right.
Self-awareness is the blueprint.
I like that. Like a blueprint for a life you're, stoked about.
Exactly.
And, speaking of blueprints, I'm seeing this ikigai thing pop up a lot. It's a Japanese concept. I don't know. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, it's super interesting. Basically, it's about finding that sweet spot where your passions and your skills and what the world needs and what you can actually get paid for, like where they all meet.
Well, okay. That's a lot of like overlapping circles.
Right?
That must be tricky to figure out.
It can be, yeah, it can be a process.
And I feel like mindset probably plays a big role there.
Huge role. You need a growth mindset, not just thinking positive, but seeing challenges as chances to, learn and grow. Like imagine hitting a roadblock, right?
Yeah.
Someone with a fixed mindset, they might just give up. But with a growth mindset, okay, this is feedback. How do I adjust? What can I learn?
So it's like embracing the screw-ups almost.
Yeah, see them as stepping stones.
I like that. It's empowering,
It is. It really is. And it's not just bouncing back from setbacks. It's about being okay with being uncomfortable, pushing your boundaries. That's where the real growth happens.
So to get to that, awesome potential, got to get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Discomfort often equals discovery.
Interesting. Now, one thing that I always kind of wondered about, vision boards, are they legit? Or is it just like a trendy thing?
Oh, they can be powerful, but it's not just throwing random pictures up. It's carefully picking visuals that represent your goals, your values. Think of it like a visual reminder of where you're headed, like something you look at every day to stay on track.
Oh, okay. So like when things get tough, you look at that and you're like, all right, this is where I'm going.
Exactly. Keeps you focused, and it helps those goals feel more real. You see it, it's easier to break it down into steps.
Makes sense, but let's be honest. Even with the best mindset, the coolest vision board, fear and self-doubt, they still sneak in, don't they?
Oh, for sure. It's part of being human, especially when you're doing something that matters to you. The key is to see those feelings for what they are, often just thoughts, not facts, and then, find ways to manage them.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? Quiet those inner critics, build up that confidence.
Challenge the negative thoughts. You catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough. Ask yourself, what evidence is there for that? A lot of times, it's just fear talking.
Oh, so really question those assumptions.
Yeah, and flip the script.
I like that. But what about support from others? Can that help with the fear and doubt?
Community is huge. Having people around you who believe in you, it makes all the difference.
It's find your tribe, your people.
Exactly. They encourage you, they hold you accountable, they offer fresh perspectives. It's amazing.
And are there any specific ways to find those people?
Oh yeah. Think about groups, online communities, things related to your passions, workshops, conferences, those are great too. Or even just reaching out to someone you admire, asking for advice.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, are there warning signs? Signs you're on the wrong path with this passion and purpose thing?
That's a great question. Yeah, there are definitely some red flags. Feeling constantly unfulfilled, even if you're successful on paper, but inside it's that's a sign something's off.
Like that empty feeling, even when you're achieving things.
Exactly. And also a lack of motivation, just dragging yourself through each day. That's another one.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's say someone's listening and they're like, oh shoot, maybe I am off track. What's the first step to getting back on course?
I would say reconnect with yourself. Make time for quiet reflection, journaling, meditation, anything like that. And ask yourself some honest questions, what really matters to me? What brings me joy? What impact do I want to make?
So it's about tuning into that inner compass again.
Exactly. Rediscovering your values, your passions, and then starting to make choices that match up with those things. Yeah, it's a process for sure. Sometimes, it's a real aha moment.
I bet. But once you do have that clarity, then what? How do you fit passion and purpose into like everyday life. I mean, we all have schedules, responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, that's where making conscious choices comes in. It's about, picking things that align with your goals and values, even if it's not always the easy choice. It might mean saying no to things that drain you, or carving out time for things that light you up, even just for a few minutes a day.
So like small tweaks, but with intention.
Exactly. Weaving it into your life little by little. Like maybe you take a different route to work so you can pass a park that inspires you, or you listen to a podcast during your commute, something that, feeds your soul.
Oh, I love that, finding those little pockets of time.
Mhm.
Speaking of nourishment, let's talk about something that's kind of, the elephant in the room with this passion and purpose thing.
Yeah.
Money. How do you balance like needing to pay the bills with chasing your dreams?
Right. It's a real concern for a lot of people, but I think we need to shift our thinking. Instead of passion versus practicality, what if it's passion fueling prosperity?
Whoa, okay. I like that. So how do we actually do that? Turn our passions into something that, pays the rent.
There are so many ways. You could start a side hustle based on your passion. Find ways to weave it into your current job. Maybe even consider a whole new career path that aligns with your values.
So get creative. Think outside the box a little.
Exactly. And technology has opened up so many doors. You can create online courses, write ebooks, start a blog, a podcast. I mean, the options are endless. Share your knowledge, your passion, and make money while you're at it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Something that always gets me fired up is like learning from people who are actually doing it, living their passion. Are there any, individuals or stories that like really stick out to you?
Yeah, I think it's so powerful to find inspiration from those who have paved the way. And you can find those stories everywhere, not just like famous people. Think about the local entrepreneur, the baker who turned their love of baking into, a thriving business, or the artist who faced a ton of rejection but finally got their work in a gallery.
Yeah, like those everyday heroes showing us it's possible.
Exactly. They teach us about overcoming challenges, staying motivated, achieving success. And success on their own terms, which is so important.
Right. Success doesn't have to look a certain way. You get to define it.
That's the beauty of it. It could be finding work that you love, making a difference in your community, just, living a life that feels real and true to you.
That's empowering. But even with all the inspiration in the world, I think there are going to be times when, self-doubt creeps back in. You start questioning everything. What advice do you have for those moments when you just want to give up?
Well, those moments happen, and it's important to, be gentle with yourself. Everyone goes through it. One thing that can help is to reconnect with your why, the reasons behind your passions, your purpose. Why did you start on this path? What are you hoping to achieve?
Oh, so like reminding yourself of the bigger picture.
Exactly. And it helps to have support, people you can turn to when you're feeling lost. Remember that community we talked about?
Yeah.
They'll remind you of your strengths, help you get back on track.
Like your cheerleaders.
Yes, and remember, progress isn't always a straight line. There will be bumps, detours, unexpected stuff, but see those as learning opportunities, not signs that you're on the wrong path.
Embrace the chaos.
Exactly. Sometimes those detours, they lead to something even better than you could have imagined.
I like that. But what about balancing personal goals with like societal expectations? That can be a real struggle. How do you deal with those pressures and still stay true to yourself?
It takes self-awareness and courage to define success on your own terms. You have to realize societal expectations, they're often about external markers of achievement. But true fulfillment, it comes from aligning with your values and passions.
So tune out the noise and listen to that inner voice.
Exactly. And have the courage to make choices that might not make sense to everyone else, but feel right to you.
I love that. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck in a rut, even when you're generally on the right track. What do you suggest for reigniting that passion and purpose when you're feeling kind of blah blah?
Sometimes all you need is to shake things up. Maybe explore a new hobby, take a class in something that sounds interesting, maybe even travel to a new place. New experiences can open up your mind, bring back that sense of wonder.
So get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be huge. It could be trying a new recipe, reading a different kind of book, even just talking to someone new.
Well, that's a good one. But what about when the thing you're passionate about is also the thing stressing you out? Can something you love also be draining?
Oh, absolutely. You got to be aware of how your passions affect you overall. If it's consistently more stress than joy, maybe it's time to reevaluate. find a healthier way to, engage with it.
So find that balance where it energizes you, not depletes you.
Yes. Set boundaries, take breaks, even ask for help managing the demands.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you know when you're really on the right path?
Yeah.
Living a life like truly aligned with your passion and purpose. Is there like a clear sign, or is it more of a feeling?
I think it's a bit of both. You'll feel this deep sense of fulfillment, even when things are tough. There's a feeling of flow, like you're right where you're supposed to be, doing what you're meant to do.
Like everything just clicks.
Exactly. And even everyday stuff feels meaningful, like you're part of something bigger. And that brings joy and satisfaction.
That's beautiful. But what about those pesky doubts? Even when you're feeling good, that little voice that's like, what if there's something better out there? How do you handle that?
Oh, it's totally normal to wonder about that. What if there's something even better? And hey, maybe there is. But it's how you approach it, right? Curiosity, open mind, not from a place of like fear or being unhappy with what you have.
So not settling, but not constantly chasing some like perfect thing that might not even exist.
Exactly. Be open to new things, but appreciate what you have now. You'll find your way, even if it's not a straight line.
I dig that.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot in this deep dive. Self-awareness, mindset, having your people, and defining success on your own WM terms. So as we wrap this up, any last bits of wisdom for our listeners who are, on their own journey with this passion and purpose thing?
It's a journey, not a destination. There's no finish line. You don't just suddenly arrive at passion and purpose. It's constant exploring, growing, changing.
So enjoy the ride with all the crazy ups and downs.
Yeah. Be patient with yourself, celebrate those small wins, and never stop learning. You've got everything you need to create a life that's like truly meaningful and joyful.
Wow. Beautifully said. And as we close out, one last thing to think about. Picture yourself a year from now.
Yeah.
You've taken steps to align your life with your passions and purpose. What does that look like? What are you doing? Who's around you? What kind of impact are you making? Let that vision guide you. Take those first steps. Create the life you want.
It all starts now.
That's it for this deep dive, folks. Until next time.